Famous people and celebrities who passed away in the United States in 1969. This is the 6th episode. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Leo McCarey. He was born in October 1898 and he died in July 1969. His age was 70 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was emphysema. Leo McCarey was an American film director, screenwriter, and producer. He was involved in nearly 200 films, including the critically acclaimed Duck Soup, Make Way for Tomorrow, The Awful Truth, Going My Way, The Bells of St. Mary's, My Son, John, and An Affair to Remember, while focusing mainly on screwball comedies during the 1930s. McCarey turned towards producing more socially conscious and overtly religious films during the 1940s, ultimately finding success and acclaim in both genres. McCarey initially wrote gags for Our Gang series and other studio stars, then produced and directed short, including 2 reelers. With Charlie Chase, Chase would in fact become McCarey's mentor. Upon the comedian's death in 1940, McCarey was quoted as saying, "Whatever success I have had or may have, I owe to his help because he taught me all I know." Invited to Columbia later in 1937, McCarey earned his first Academy Award for Best Director for The Awful Truth with Irene Dunne and Cary Grant. Shorty Long. He was born in May 1940 and he died in June 1969. His age was 29 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was drowning. Shorty Long was an American soul singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer for Motown's Soul Records imprint. He was inducted into the Alabama Jazz Hall of Fame in 1980. His first release, Devil with the Blue Dress On, in 1964, written with William Mickey Stevenson, was the first recording issued on Motown's soul label, a subsidiary designed for more blues-based artists such as Long. While this song never charted nationally, the song was covered and made a hit in 1966 by Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. Long's 1966 single, Function at the Junction, was his first popular hit, reaching number 42 on the US Billboard R&B chart. Long's biggest hit was Here Comes the Judge, which in July 1968 reached number 4 on the R&B chart and number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. Long played many instruments including piano, organ, drums, harmonica, and trumpet. On June 29, 1969, Long and a friend drowned when their boat crashed on the Detroit River in Michigan. Steve Wonder played the harmonica at his burial and placed it on his casket afterwards. Chuck Taylor. He was born in June 1901 and he died in June 1969. His age was 67 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Chuck Taylor was a semi-pro basketball player who became famous for promoting Converse shoes, leading to the creation of the iconic Chuck Taylor All-Star sneakers. Taylor began his career as a semi-professional basketball player in 1919 and as the player-manager for the Converse All-Stars basketball team in the mid-1920s, but he became widely known as a salesman and promoter of Converse All-Star basketball shoes. Taylor traveled the country providing local basketball clinics, making special appearances and meeting customers in local sporting goods stores to promote the company's basketball shoes. During World War II, he coached the Wright Field Air Tax basketball team during the 1944 and 1945 season and served as a physical fitness instructor on the United States military before resuming his career as a traveling salesman for Converse. Taylor retired from work in 1968. He was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 1969. Michael DiBiase, he was born in December 1923 and he died in July 1969. His age was 45 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Michael DiBiase was an American professional wrestler, also known by his ring name Iron Mike DiBiase, the adoptive father of professional wrestler The $1 Million Man. Ted DiBiase was married to Ted's mother, Helen Hilt, who was also a professional wrestler and was the grandfather of Mike, Ted Jr., and Brett DiBiase. As an amateur wrestler, DiBiase, representing the United States Navy, was the 1946 AAU champion in the UNL Open or Heavyweight division. He then wrestled at the University of Nebraska and competed at UNL in the NCAA tournament in 1947 and 1948, losing his first-round match both years. DiBiase made his professional debut in 1950. In 1963, DiBiase became the 131st and last knockout victim of light heavyweight boxer Archie Moore. One of the DiBiase's most notable matches was a Texas death match against Dory Funk Sr., which, according to Terry Funk, lasted for 4 hours and 10 minutes, having taken in 32 falls. DiBiase died in the ring on July 2, 1969 in Lubbock, Texas. Max Fabian, he was born in May 1891 and he died in June 1969. His age was 78 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Max Fabian was a Polish-Jewish cinematographer born in Lemberg, Galicia, Austria-Hungary, and died in Los Angeles, California. He is credited on 18 films. Among his more notable work, he was the cinematographer for El Presidio in 1930, Shadows of the Night in 1928, The Gay Deceiver in 1926, and The 13th Hour in 1927. Some of his other prominent works are The Stranger's Banquet in 1922, Mr. Barnes of New York in 1922, Don't in 1925, The Barrier in 1926, Frisco Sally Levy in 1927, Lovers in 1927, In Old Kentucky in 1927, Honeymoon in 1928, Voice of the City in 1929, The Hollywood Review in 1929. Charles Carpenter, he was born in September 1899 and he died in June 1969. His age was 69 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Charles Carpenter was consecrated a bishop of the Alabama Episcopal Diocese on June 24, 1938, and served until 1968. He was one of the authors of the A Call for Unity letter published during Martin Luther King Jr.'s incarceration in Alabama jail, asking him and his outsider followers to refrain from demonstrating in the streets of Birmingham. Carpenter was one of the 8 white Alabama clergy who publicly opposed the 1963 Birmingham campaign for integration and wrote the A Call for Unity letter on April 12, 1963, to which the Rev. Martin Luther King Jr. responded with his letter from Birmingham jail on April 16, 1963. On July 13, 2007, a letter from Carpenter's son, the Rev. Douglas Carpenter, was published by the Episcopal Life online news link emphasizing his father's stands on the issue of desegregation. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.